Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. We are tackling a topic that I know a ton of you have been requesting, and it's one that's near and dear to my heart because, well, let's be honest, who doesn't want a bathroom that looks amazing and functions perfectly?
Yeah, the bathroom. It's a space we use every single day, multiple times a day.
It's true. And we're zeroing in on bathroom materials today. We're going to be pulling some really key insights and advice from Design Marketing Buildxtalk Podcast. I think this is going to be super useful for anyone who's maybe thinking about a remodel or even just wants to level up their bathroom game in general.
I think so too. I mean, there's some really great takeaways in this Buildx discussion.
Yeah, and I think especially for a space like the bathroom where durability and water resistance are so crucial. This deep dive should help everyone make smart choices.
Exactly. When it comes to bathrooms, those factors are non-negotiable. You can't just pick something because it looks nice.
Right. Okay, so let's dive in. Should we start with flooring?
Yeah, let's lay the groundwork. Literally.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so the Buildx podcast really emphasizes that when it comes to bathroom flooring, durability and water resistance should be top of mind, which makes total sense. It's a wet area. You don't want things warping or getting damaged. So what are some of the materials that they highlight as being really reliable in those departments?
Well, one of the most popular, and for good reason, is porcelain or ceramic tile.
Okay, tile. Classic, right?
Yeah, it's a classic for a reason. I mean, they're inherently water resistant. You don't have to worry about splashes and spills penetrating the surface, causing damage over time.
Which is bound to happen in a bathroom.
Right. It's going to happen. And they're also really, really durable. They can handle a lot of foot traffic.
Yeah, you're not going to scuff them up easily.
Not easily. And then another huge plus, at least for me, is the design versatility.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can do so much with tile.
I mean, the colors, the patterns, the textures, you can create almost any look you want.
You can go sleek and modern. You can go rustic. You can go traditional. You can go crazy with colors. It's pretty amazing.
Right. There's something for everyone. But, one thing that the Buildx folks do mention is that tile can be a little bit, cold underfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in the winter. Nobody wants to step out of a warm shower onto a freezing cold tile floor.
Exactly. And that's where they bring up vinyl flooring.
Okay, vinyl.
Which, it used to have a bit of a bad rap, but it has come a long way.
Yeah, it's not your grandma's linoleum anymore.
Exactly. It's much more stylish now, and it's still super water resistant. And one of its biggest selling points, it's softer and warmer underfoot than tile.
So it's a good option if you want that comfort factor.
Definitely. And it's often more budget-friendly than tile and usually a little easier to install.
So a good DIY option potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to talk about natural stone.
Yeah.
Because the Buildx podcast brought this up, and it's something that I've always been drawn to, like marble, granite, those kinds of materials. They just have this luxurious, timeless feel. But I know there's a but coming. They're not without their downsides, right?
Right. They are gorgeous. And, natural stone just elevates a space. But they do require more maintenance.
Ah, the dreaded maintenance.
Yeah.
Specifically, natural stone needs to be sealed regularly to keep it water resistant.
So you can't just install it and forget about it.
No, because, those stones are porous. So if they're not sealed properly, liquids can seep in, you can get staining, water damage.
Not the look we're going for.
Definitely not. So yeah, it's a trade-off. You get the beauty, but you also have to commit to keeping it looking its best.
Okay. Now, what about engineered wood? This was another material that the podcast mentioned, and I know it's become quite popular in recent years. It gives you that warmth of real wood, but is it actually a good choice for a bathroom, a space that, is prone to moisture?
It's a good question. And the Buildx folks kind of straddle the line on this one. They say that engineered wood does have better moisture resistance than solid hardwood, which is just because of how it's made.
Okay, how is it made? So it's layers of wood, often with a plywood or MDF core, which makes it more stable. But they also caution that it's still more sensitive to standing water than, say, tile or vinyl.
So you wouldn't want to use it in an area where there's a lot of splashing or potential for puddles.
Exactly. It might be okay for a powder room, where there's just a sink. But if you've got a full bathroom with a shower or a tub, you have to be extra careful about spills.
Okay, I see. So it's not a hard no, but it's definitely something to consider carefully.
Yeah, think about the specific conditions in your bathroom and how much moisture exposure there's likely to be.
Good advice. Okay, now I want to touch on something that the Buildx podcast mentioned that I thought was really interesting, and it's tile slip resistance. They talk about this R rating system, which I have to admit I wasn't super familiar with before listening to them. And they specifically recommend looking for tiles with an R rating of at least R10 for bathrooms.
Yeah, that's an important point, and it's all about safety.
Right. Because a slippery bathroom floor is a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. So the R rating basically measures how slip-resistant a tile is when it's wet. And an R10 rating is considered suitable for areas where, there's going to be some moisture, like a bathroom.
Okay, so that's kind of like the baseline. Anything lower than that, and you're increasing the risk of slips and falls.
Exactly. Which is not something you want to mess around with.
No, absolutely not. Okay, so we've covered the ground. Let's move up to the walls now.
Let's do it.
And again, water resistance is key here. What are some of the top contenders for bathroom walls, according to the Buildxtalk podcast?
Well, tile's a great option for walls, too.
Okay, so porcelain or ceramic tile, same as for floors.
Yeah, same idea. They're waterproof, they're easy to clean, and just like with floor tiles, the design options are almost endless.
Right, you can do subway tile, you can do those large format tiles that are really popular right now.
Yeah.
Lots of possibilities.
Absolutely. But tile isn't the only option. If you're looking for something a little different, something maybe more modern and seamless, the Buildxtalk podcast talks about acrylic panels.
Acrylic panels, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. They have a really sleek look because they're smooth and non-porous, which also makes them completely waterproof and super easy to clean. Just wipe them down. And installation is usually quicker and less messy than tiling.
Okay, so that's a plus.
Definitely. Plus, they come in lots of colors and patterns, too, so you still have that design flexibility.
I like that. So it's kind of like a more modern take on wall coverings.
Yeah, exactly. If you want that clean, minimalist aesthetic, acrylic panels can be a good way to go.
Okay. Now, what about just using paint? I mean, the podcast mentions moisture-resistant paints. Is that enough protection in a bathroom, or is that just asking for trouble?
So moisture-resistant paints are definitely better than a regular paint for bathrooms.
Okay, good to know.
Because they have a finish, like a semi-gloss or satin finish, that's less porous, so it repels some moisture and it's easier to wipe clean. But it's not a foolproof solution. It's not as durable as tile or acrylic, especially in areas that get a lot of direct water contact. So like in a shower or around the tub, you probably want something more robust.
Okay, so maybe paint is good for areas that aren't getting constantly splashed.
Exactly. And it's a good budget-friendly option, especially if your bathroom is well ventilated.
Makes sense. Okay. And then for a really luxurious, totally waterproof look, the podcast talks about glass, like glass panels or tiles.
Yes, glass. It's definitely a statement.
Right. It can look so chic and modern.
And it's completely waterproof, which is a big plus. But of course, there are some downsides.
Oh, I bet. Cost being one of them.
Cost is definitely a factor. Glass can be pretty pricey. And then the other thing is, while it's waterproof, it shows water spots and smudges really easily.
Okay, so you're going to be cleaning it a lot.
Yeah. If you want it to look pristine, you're going to be wiping it down pretty often.
Okay, so high maintenance for sure.
But, sometimes the look is worth the extra effort.
That's true. Okay, so we've covered the floors, we've covered the walls. Let's talk countertops now.
All right, the heart of the bathroom.
Yeah. The Buildxtalk podcast really stresses the importance of finding a countertop material that's both stylish and practical. It's got to look good, but it's also got to stand up to everyday use. So where do they suggest we start?
Well, quartz has become really popular for countertops, and there's some good reasons for that.
Okay, tell me about it.
It's incredibly durable, like super scratch resistant and stain resistant.
That's because it's non-porous, right?
Exactly. And because it's non-porous, it's also really low maintenance. You don't have to seal it or anything. And the best part is it comes in a huge range of colors and patterns.
So you can find something that fits any style.
Pretty much.
That's great. Now, what about granite? I know that's another really popular countertop material, and it has that natural kind of elegant look.
Right. Granite is beautiful, it's heat resistant, scratch resistant, but it does need to be sealed regularly.
Ah, so that's the catch. Why is that?
Because granite is a natural stone, and it's porous.
Okay, so if you don't seal it, liquids can seep in and stain it.
Exactly. And it can harbor bacteria, too, if it's not properly sealed. So, yeah, regular maintenance is key.
Got it. Okay. Now, for people who are on a tighter budget, what does the Buildxtalk podcast recommend?
They mention laminate countertops, which have come a long way in terms of style and design.
Yeah, the designs are much better than they used to be. But what are the trade-offs?
Well, laminate is not as durable as natural stone or quartz. It's more prone to scratches, and it can be damaged by water, especially if it seeps in along the seams.
Right.
So it's a more budget-friendly option, but you might have to replace it sooner.
Okay, I see. Now, I can't let you go without talking about marble. Because, I mean, it's classic, it's timeless. But the podcast mentions that it's pretty high maintenance, especially in a bathroom. Is that true?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's true. Marble is a beautiful material, but it's softer and more porous than granite or quartz. So it's more susceptible to staining, scratching, etching from acidic things like, lemon juice or vinegar.
So not the best choice for a high-traffic area like a bathroom.
It can be a risky choice, yeah. You really have to be diligent about using the right cleaning products and avoiding anything that could stain or damage it.
Okay, so maybe marble is better suited for other areas of the house.
Perhaps. Unless you're really committed to the upkeep.
Right. Okay, now remember the Buildx podcast also mentioned a couple of other countertop materials that sounded pretty interesting. Engineered stone, and I think they called them full-body vitrified tile slabs.
Yes. Those are some newer options that are becoming increasingly popular.
What's the deal with those?
So engineered stone, that's basically like man-made granite or marble.
Okay, so it tries to mimic the look of natural stone.
Exactly, but it's engineered to be more durable and less porous than natural stone. So it's often more stain-resistant and doesn't require as much maintenance.
Okay, that sounds promising.
It is. And then the full-body vitrified tile slabs, those are pretty cool. The full body part means that the color and pattern run through the entire tile, not just the surface.
Oh, interesting. So if it gets chipped, it's less noticeable.
Exactly. And they're really durable and non-porous, so they're very stain-resistant. And they come in these large formats, which can create a really sleek, seamless look with minimal grout lines.
Oh, I love that idea. Fewer grout lines to clean.
Yeah, that's always a bonus.
All right, we are making our way through the bathroom here. I think it's time to talk about the ceiling.
Okay, let's look up.
Yeah, literally. Now, the Buildx podcast, rightly so, points out that moisture resistance is a big deal when it comes to ceilings, especially in a bathroom. You don't want mildew growing up there. So what materials do they recommend for ceilings?
They're big fans of PVC panels.
Okay, PVC panels. Tell me more.
They're moisture resistant, mildew resistant, and super easy to install. And they come in a bunch of different styles and finishes to match your bathroom decor.
Okay, so it's a practical and stylish option.
Exactly.
Now, what about moisture-resistant drywall? I've heard that called green board.
Right. The Buildx podcast does mention green board as well.
And it's treated to withstand moisture, but is it enough for a bathroom ceiling?
It's definitely better than regular drywall for bathrooms, but it's important to understand that it's not fully waterproof.
Yeah.
It still needs to be properly sealed and painted with a moisture-resistant paint.
Okay, so it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
No, but it is a popular choice, especially if you have good ventilation in your bathroom.
Okay. And then there's cement board.
Ah, yes, cement board, the gold standard.
Right. The Buildx podcast describes it as extremely durable and completely waterproof. They say it's great for tiling and for areas with really high moisture. When would you actually recommend using cement board for a bathroom ceiling?
I'd say anytime you're dealing with consistently high moisture levels. So like in a shower enclosure, a steam room, or if you're planning on tiling your ceiling, cement board is the way to go.
Okay, so it's like the ultimate protection.
Pretty much.
Awesome. All right. Now, I want to touch on something that's becoming increasingly important in home design in general, and that's sustainability. The Buildx podcast talks about using eco-friendly materials in the bathroom. What are some ways that we can make more sustainable choices when it comes to bathroom materials?
Yeah, they have some great tips. One of the things they recommend is using recycled materials.
Okay, like what?
Like recycled glass or ceramic tiles.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Right. And it's a great way to reduce waste and add a unique touch to your bathroom. They also talk about using bamboo, which is a rapidly renewable resource, for flooring or even bathroom furniture.
Oh, I love bamboo. It's so versatile.
Right. And then, of course, you can choose low VOC paints.
VOCs, that's volatile organic compounds, right?
Yes. So low VOC paints release fewer harmful chemicals into the air, which is better for your health and the environment.
Okay, that's good to know.
And then, of course, water conservation is a huge part of sustainability.
Right.
So installing water-efficient fixtures like low-flow faucets, shower heads, and dual-flush toilets can make a big difference.
Absolutely. Every little bit helps.
It really does.
Well, this has been incredibly informative. I feel like we've covered so much ground.
We have. It's amazing how much thought goes into choosing the right bathroom materials.
It's true. And I think the big takeaway from the Buildx podcast and from our conversation today is that it's really important to prioritize durability, water resistance, and ease of maintenance when you're making these decisions.
Couldn't agree more. It's about making choices that are both beautiful and functional. Choices that will make you happy for years to come.
Right. You don't want to be redoing your bathroom every couple of years because you chose the wrong materials.
Exactly. It's an investment.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. This has been incredibly helpful.
My pleasure. I always enjoy talking about bathroom design.
And to all of you listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into bathroom materials. We hope you found it useful. Now, as you go forth and conquer your own bathroom projects, we want to leave you with a thought. Thinking about all the materials we discussed today and considering your own needs and style, what's one material you're now most curious to explore further? And what are some potential benefits or challenges that you think might come with that choice? That's something to mull over as you create your own bathroom oasis. Until next time, happy designing.